The sun is tilted by 6 degrees with respect to the plane of the planets. The reason for the non-zero solar obliquity has been a mystery since it was first discovered by Sir Richard Carrington in the mid-1800s. It turns out that Planet 9 can actually tilt the sun.
The fact that the sun is tilted, even if it's only by 6 degrees, the fact that the sun is tilted, the sun is the most massive thing in our solar system by a huge margin, and it's oriented differently than everything else in the solar system. That is an incredibly strange phenomenon for which there really have not been that many explanations even attempted over the last 150 years. It's naturally explained by Planet 9 being exactly where we think Planet 9 is, which it's one of these mysteries that we think is now solved, that's been such a mystery that people haven't even really talked about it very much over the last 150 years because it's just been so difficult to think of why it is.
It has been known since the mid-1800s that the sun is tilted. Over the years, people have put forth various explanations for it. One possibility is that the sun was interacting with the protoplanetary disk via magnetic fields. It's also possible that the disk was just asymmetrical from the beginning. And it's also possible that the sun actually had a stellar companion a long time ago.
It was a moment of inspiration. Not all projects start out this way. Not all results really come. Some of them come, it slowly dawns on you. We were sitting in Constantine's office one afternoon, and we were actually thinking about a different problem entirely, which is how Planet 9 would interact with these very distant objects in the Kuiper belt that made us originally think that Planet 9 was there. And in just a moment, as we're thinking about it, and we're doing this with our hands, trying to think of directions things are going, I think we both realized at about the same time. It's like, oh, it's going to make the sun look tilted too. And it was very clear from the way we did our fingers that it was going to make an effect. What we didn't know until we did the calculations was how much of an effect was it going to have and in what direction was it going to go. But we knew it had to do something.
Planet 9 has been scattered out into the distant solar system. So because it has an orbital period that's so long, it has an enormous amount of angular momentum, right? As much almost as the rest of the solar system combined. So even though as an object it is not as massive as Jupiter, it has a huge lever bar. Okay? And using that lever bar, it can effectively torque the rest of the disk of the solar system by 6 degrees over the age of the sun.
Next, always next on our list is find the planet. We think we have it narrowed down to a pretty small patch in the sky that we have to look at. Small patch in the sky still means we need many, many nights on the telescope. We're pretty convinced that by maybe the end of next winter, we will have been able to cover enough sky that we'll actually be able to find it. When we find it, we both show that this hypothesis has been correct, we learn about it, but we also see how much of the sun, how it should have tilted the sun too, and see if this is the only thing that's been tilting the sun or if other things are around doing it.
And I myself sponsored my videos. If you do not help yourself, nobody will help. Theoretical information. And here we have another bullshit from scientists. What do you think about this? And like if you don't believe in the end of the world. A bright future for the Russians in 2020. In Kazan, predicted psychic, the influx of light power should come into the country along with the first snowfalls. According to independent experts, in Russia more than 8 million residents suffer from chronic depression. Based on these statistics, experts argue that in 2020, depression will become the second most important cause of temporary disability of the population. The psychological disorder of people is due to the fact that they see the world in gray colors, and some of them put an equal sign between depression and life in the Russian Federation. Experts say that people currently work too much and often take provocative news like everything is bad again to heart. But according to an experienced psychic from Kazan, the level of depression will not increase by the beginning of 2020. but on the contrary will rapidly fall. The seer claims that in Russia a wind of rapid changes is emerging. The impure force that affects the psyche of people will exhaust all its strength and leave the country forever. It will be replaced by an influx of light power that will change people's worldview in a good way. It is reported that the Russians will begin to feel the first changes already with the first snowfalls, and further the sense of confidence and positive will only grow. Big changes are coming. The standard of living will begin to increase, and people will get rid of serious ailments that affect the general mood and condition of the body, said the Kazan psychic. He also advised spending more time in the fresh air, so that the power of a bright spirit is fully absorbed in the human heart and mind. Pay less attention to negativity in the news and try to see more positive things in everything. This is also one of the blocks of cleansing from chronic depression. If the seer's prediction comes true, then Russia will be able to compete with Switzerland for the title of the country with the highest standard of living. But this will be difficult to achieve if people do not want to try to change. But just wait. Various political problems will not affect the level of happiness, and people will finally be able to live a full life, even with heavy work schedules. What do you think? The next nonsense from experts. Write your thoughts. Share this video with your friends and sign up to know more about Nibiru and the new anti-Nibiru planet. Pleiades. And I myself sponsored my videos. If you do not help yourself, nobody will help. Theoretical information. And here we have another bullshit from scientists. What do you think about this? And like if you don't believe in the end of the world. The apocalypse has begun. Earth will become Mars. The core of the planet began to grow and heat up. Geology experts have made an amazing discovery. Recently, geologists analyzed the Earth's crust using the latest ultrasonic apparatus, and the obtained data crossed out all concepts about the structure of the planet. Based on the information received, experts conclude that the core of the planet is in the stage of abnormal deformation, and to be precise, the core seems to increase in size and heat up. Based on this, the researchers concluded that this is the cause of global warming. Experts in the field of cosmology immediately became interested in the results of this examination. According to them, the reason for this interest is that earlier they also recorded similar phenomena on Mars. The joint efforts of experts revealed several new conjectures. The first is that the changes in the core did not start all of a sudden, but simply could not be noticed with old equipment. And the second, such changes on Mars led to the planet dying due to similar global warming and drying out surface. Experts have yet to figure out at what speed the core grows and increases temperature. So far these data have not been fully studied. Scientists do not claim that the exact same outcome awaits the Earth, but do not let this theory out of sight. Most likely, the heat and gases produced by the core escape through deep ocean trenches, thereby increasing the percentage of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Such a process would begin anyway, but the technology of mankind only aggravated it. The experts said. What do you think? The next nonsense from experts. Write your thoughts. Share this video with your friends and sign up to know more about Nibiru and the new anti-Nibiru planet. Pleiades.